My name is Edgar Borja. I am the CEO and founder of K1 Technology. We are building the easiest way to buy Bitcoin in the world.
Edgar, the diplomatic glue.
Edgar from K1 has such vision.
So when I first met Edgar from K1, I was just mind blown from first second, right?
I have a huge amount of respect for what Edgar has built. And this thing is just one piece of the puzzle.
We're K1, Bitcoin for everyone.
But I think this bootcamp can be a challenge for him to have to choose between sticking together or keeping up the pace.
I'm really impressed with what he built, so the little machine that he built.
3 hours ago, K1 received the confirmation of a grant from Stargate Foundation.
Woo! And then I just couldn't believe, I almost fell on my chair, literally. I was like, how is this possible?
Not giving up, keep going, and then once you get to a certain point, you can enjoy it and then keep going some more. So I was born here in El Salvador. I grew up playing on the street with my friends in the 80s, still the age before the internet. You still had to run to your friend to see if he was home and if they wanted to play, so not texting them. Going to school, coming back, it was a normal school years if you consider that it was, during the war in El Salvador. My family tried to make it normal, maybe there's an earthquake one day, but we all sleep outside today and it's like camping, except that the ground shakes.
When the Bitcoin law was announced in El Salvador, my co-founder and I traveled to El Zonte, to Bitcoin Beach, to buy some Bitcoin. I put $10 into the machine. I sat down next to it for the next 10 minutes because I'm Salvadoran. I wasn't going anywhere without my Bitcoin. And by the time it got to me, it was only $7. That made me realize how hard it would be for regular Salvadorans to start using Bitcoin. So we decided at that moment that we would create a better way. We would create the easiest way to buy Bitcoin in the world. That became our mission. Now let me show it to you.
Our start product, the K1 Mini, which is a Bitcoin ATM that fits in a backpack. You can bring it to a meetup. You can bring it to an educational session. You can take it in the airport, go through security, take it with you, and then anybody can buy Bitcoin. It can work with dollars, with euro, with pesos, and just drop in a coin or put in a 5, and then you just prepare a Bitcoin QR code, show it to the machine, and that's it. If you blinked, you missed it.
Starknet is coming to Bitcoin.
Starknet is coming to Bitcoin. That's the first Starknet integration with K1. Yeah, it's ready.
I've got to see the machine working and I was just curious, hey dude, how does it work? And then I just couldn't believe, I almost fell on my chair, literally. I was like, how is this possible, right? It's just an insane product.
I'm really impressed with the little machine that he built. I can imagine there being lots of great viral videos with this cute little character who just so happens to also be enabling financial freedom.
In my personal time, I like to spend time with my family, watching movies. One of my ways to keep distracted from work is going to creeks and lakes and get a few native fish and then bring them home. I brought a big container, I built a filter for it, so I have a little bit of a pond at home. The first time that I turned on the water filter for the fish, my daughter told me the next day, Dad, I fell asleep with the sound of the waterfall in our backyards, and she really loved it, so it's just relaxing to be around nature. What can I say about El Salvador? I think it's the most beautiful country in the world with the most beautiful people, but I'm biased, I'm Salvadoran. The food in El Salvador, you have to try the pupusas, definitely world famous. One of my goals in the future is to build a pupusa machine so that you can have pupusas, fresh pupusas at home anywhere. Can you buy pupusas with Bitcoin somewhere else? I don't know, man. I think only in El Salvador, yes.
It's the easiest way to buy Bitcoin in the world. Our machines are already in 23 countries, in 6 continents. This is Salvadoran technology taking over the world. This is how businesses operate in El Salvador. You go to the bakery and you see they're always using a calculator. You go to buy souvenirs and they have a calculator. You go to the marketplace to buy some meat and you see a calculator. we're going to create, and we're in the process of creating a tool that's going to integrate into the existing workflow of Salvadoran businesses by launching the easiest way to receive Bitcoin payments in the world. So anybody from the pupuseria down the street to the guy riding on a bike selling bread can accept Bitcoin payments easily. No learning curve. You just type in the amount, press the Bitcoin button, and a QR code will be generated for you to be able to scan and pay. At this moment, K1 is perfectly positioned at the peak of Bitcoin awareness. So we're asking you a question. Are you ready to join us in this Bitcoin revolution?
Yes, sir.
A lot of what they built, you can see how they iterated over their different prototypes. You can see how much thought was put into their machine. You can see how much thought they put into making the user experience seamless. And I think that's great. It's amazing. They're not just trying to build one thing, they're trying to equip the whole world with hardware to process Bitcoin transactions.
Welcome to my office. This is K1, where we created the first payment kiosk in El Salvador. We have some of the news articles about the company. This little machine here is a little inspiration for us because it's about the same size as our machine, but it has a completely different use. So this is another of our production areas. We have some machines that are ready to ship. Some of them that are still being constructed, still missing a few parts. So my co-founder Edwin leads part of the development effort as well. We've been working for a few years now.
What I like about Edgar also is that he's a great salesperson. Like, he cares about the people he's working with and he cares about the relationship, and you can see that in small stuff, right? Like giving advices to people on where to go in El Salvador or making people taste local treats. Like, this kind of stuff sounds meaningless, but it's actually not. It is how you build long-lasting relationship. That's something a lot of people have forgotten with being online all the time.
This is our packaging area over here on the right, where we prepare everything just to be shipped. This is our electronics fabrication area. This is where we prepare the boards. And right now, we're actually testing some internal changes to the machines to improve the audio quality, which is one of the features. When you do advertisements, you want them to have very clear audio.
Darknet is coming to Bitcoin.
Behind me is the construction area, where if we need to build a prototype or some parts of the machine that actually require power tools, we prepare them back here. And then we have our CNC, which is where we have our laser cutters, our 3D printers. Some of the components inside the machine, some of the parts need to be 3D printed here, so we build them ourselves. And then we also build some props and games, to bring to conferences. If you want to orange peel somebody, this is where we build them. When they began asking me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be an inventor. I remember watching cartoons. One of the characters was an inventor, and he was always solving everybody's problems by creating things that would allow them to overcome their problems. And then I also had the opportunity of growing up. My dad began a computer academy. I had access to computers, so I remember he had a Commodore 64. I was allowed to take it apart, and I took, the floppy drive and took all the screws out. The floppy drive used to be, a big chunk of metal. So I did it all the way to get one of the LEDs, a green LED, and that was my success. I was better at taking things apart than putting them back together, of course. I've never been, artistic, being able to draw or even less sing. But I do have to create. And then I guess I expressed my creativity by building software initially and then building electronics and hardware.
Every startup founder carries on their back the weight of their startup. So today, you will summit this volcano with a backpack. Inside your backpack, you will find rocks. On the rocks, you'll find the name of K1. So your choice along your way will always be, do you want to carry it all the way to the top? Do you want to drop it off along the way? Just like building your startup, it will be your choice.
Edgar, the diplomatic glue.
He's always mediating, always softening edges. He's keeping the team together.
But I think this bootcamp can be a challenge for him to have to choose between sticking together or keeping up the pace. He will have to choose at some point if he wants to spend his time helping others, as is his nature, or to seclude away and work on what he has to do.
I actually dropped my rock like 10 minutes into the hike. Then that gave me energy to keep up with everybody. Later on, I took Victor's backpack and then I traded with him. Later on, I helped Gloria, because the rock doesn't care if it's at the bottom of the volcano or at the top of the volcano. But my friends will remember, that we took this adventure together, that we helped each other out. And I guess building relationships and helping people is more important than getting a rock to the top.
And people are starting to get used to him being the helper and the facilitator. So I see them starting to go to him, starting to demand his time, and you will have to find the individualist in him. And he will have to be a little bit selfish to make sure that the connections he makes here work for him instead of him spending time working for everybody else. Because if he does that, what's going to happen is he's going to look back at his bootcamp and he's going to regret where he spent the time because he was so selfless. So I think one of the challenges for him is learn to be selfish.
Being from El Salvador, we'll learn to overcome challenges. El Salvador is, I think, the safest it has been in the last 30 years. And, as our flag said, God, union, and liberty.
Challenges was the fact that because it was a shared experience with the other founders, we were able to bond about it, either because we were angry at the person directing the challenges. No, I'm just kidding. It was because we were all being part of the same experience, so that allowed us to bond really well, but it also allowed me to know myself a little bit personally. I did things that I didn't think I would do, like standing on nails for 8 minutes, apparently. I thought it had been only a couple of minutes. Maybe my brain erased a little bit there. For the people watching, if they want to know about El Salvador, I would say it's the best time ever for El Salvador. After coming from 20 years of violence, 10 years of war, 50 years of military dictatorships, and lots of negative history, El Salvador is living its best moment ever. If you want to visit and see what Bitcoin country is like, now's the time.
This is typical of what's happening throughout El Salvador today, with the army moving in on positions, the guerrillas captured during their offensive.
I was a child during the war. There were things we were not allowed to do. So if you hear a helicopter outside, the order was get away from the windows and hide. Because if the soldiers on the helicopter would see somebody at the window looking at them or pointing at them, they could mistake you for guerrillas. So if you saw helicopters, you had to run and hide. I mentioned the curfew. There's after 9 hours you cannot go out. I know a guy who basically a grenade exploded in front of his house and he got shrapnel on his body. So we all know people who died during the war. I have a friend whom I met through work. We became really good friends. He's a cool guy. He's the funniest guy in the room. One time we were going to do like a work retreat or something like that. We were going to go out overnight with the work team to do some team building activities. So our boss said, okay, we're going to need to pair up because we're going to share rooms with each other during the time we spend outside. And he was the first like, I want to go with Borja. And I'm like, okay, dude, what's up? Later, when we were in the room, he told me, hey, I know it sounded weird that I wanted to be with you, but it's just because I know you won't make fun of me. And I have scars on my chest and my back from when a grenade exploded in front of my house and we were playing outside. So he was about my age. So he was a kid when it happened. He still had the scars. He didn't want to room with anybody else because he thought I wouldn't make fun of him, which I didn't.
We are raising $2.5 million to create this ecosystem that allows communities, individuals who are leaders in their area to have the tools necessary to empower Bitcoin adoption from the ground up. This is going to be a grassroots effort. We have seen in El Salvador how hard it is for a leader to invite people into Bitcoin, but we already have people in the ground who are advocates in every location. Maybe it can be a hotel owner, or maybe it can be somebody who's passionate about games. It can be somebody who just loves their community and they want to bring them to the future. So this is what we're building. We're K1, Bitcoin for everyone.
Edgar is a really funny and interesting guy because he's very calm. He's always walking through and calmly talking about the stuff he's doing as it would be normal. And it's just mind-blowing stuff, right? So he kept opening his backpack and he was like, yeah, I think I forgot telling you about this product. And all of a sudden he has a terminal where people can get paid on. And I was like, dude, why you haven't told me that first time I met? And then the second time I'm talking to him, oh yeah, by the way, I have this card that actually, that's how people are paying on terminals with the car too. And I was like, you're not just selling the machines, you're selling the entire ecosystem. You are selling an ecosystem on which how you can make people not just get access to Bitcoin, not just pay with Bitcoin, but also how they're gonna get paid in Bitcoin.
One more thing. Today, we are announcing the easiest way to turn your Bitcoin into cash. It's going to be a plugin module for our K1 Mini, and then you can have the easiest way to turn your Bitcoin back into cash. It's an additional module. If a store owner already has a K1 Mini, they can just buy the module, or we can sell the module together. And that means this is the third element, because then it's the easiest way to turn Bitcoin into cash. This is the world we're building.
And now we are looking into this full circle economy that his company is being able to potentially disrupt, which is he's providing a place for you to buy, he's providing a way for you to pay, and he's providing a way for you to get paid, right? And as soon as you have that full ecosystem going end to end, it becomes an unstoppable force. And that's what I'm really, really excited about.
The vision of K1 is to build inclusive devices to bring everybody onto the global financial system. The financial system is not easily accessible for everyone. And we have teams in Florida who bring our machines to retirement homes, and they teach retirees, older people, how to use Bitcoin. And then they have the same moment in their faces lighting up. Oh, so it's that easy. And they thought Bitcoin was something floating in the ether, in the internet. No, it's just, here's a quarter, you drop it in. You're connecting that person to the global system. And then if they understand that, maybe they can understand, okay, maybe I can send $100 to my granddaughter for her birthday, and I don't have to go to the bank or do this complicated thing. And just as it is in other countries like in Africa, where it is harder to access financial services, or in Colombia, how do you protect yourself from inflation? You work hard, you store 100,000 pesos, and then next year it's worth a fraction of that. You can protect them from it too. So we are building inclusive devices that bring people onto the global economy.
As soon as he can prove that there is product market fit in a country like El Salvador, nothing is holding them back to go to Africa, right? And then you're talking about a much larger market that I'm very confident that could be a very quick adoption to a product like that. And then you can go to other countries in Latin America, then you can go to Southeast Asia. And once you've got the entire penetration, then it becomes much easier for you to then make the rest of the world care about it, right? So I'm really excited about those guys, and I definitely think they're into something very, very big.
So the XFounders Bootcamp has been a terrific experience for me. I would have never believed that I would have, in a single day, 5 one-on-ones before I'm done with breakfast, or that on my way to the filming location, I would find an investor and just present to them in 3 minutes. It's been mind-blowing. So after the bootcamp, which ends in a couple of days, next will be demo day right after bootcamp here with XFounders, where we are going to raise $2.5 million. After that, we need to make that count. We are going to change the world. For people who want to launch a startup or who have an idea that they want to run with, do it. You will never have the perfect product. You will never have the perfect skills. You will never have the perfect team. Neither will your competition. Nobody's perfect. Do the best you can. Test yourself, take yourself to the limit. And once you have something that's valuable, people will let you know.
And he just keeps taking it out of the backpack, like, oh, there's one thing here I forgot. I was like, how do you forgot that? And I know at the pitch he's gonna have another surprise that nobody's expecting.